We spend so much time just worrying about the next thought. We spend so much time trying to reveal the perfect plan that we don't spend enough time trying to stop or pause, reflect, and admire our own power to contemplate and experience. This is such a unique opportunity for us at this conference, at this moment, to just experience something in a different way, to be creative with the way that we communicate, the way that we think, the way that we approach each other, network. So I invite you today to a different type of reflection, a different approach to the admiration for the moment. This talk today is on mindfulness and mindful exercises to help you to improve your creative skills, your leadership skills, and to just pause and maybe see the moment in a different way. So I'm going to invite you to just come with me through 5 different exercises that can introduce you to different perspectives of looking at everyday activities. We're going to start just like bringing awareness to our surroundings. Because right now maybe you're sitting in front of a computer watching this lecture, maybe you have your phone on your hand. It might be a little bit challenging to focus solely on what I'm saying here. It's so different than when we are in a conference, in a stadium, or in a movie theater, where the sole activity that we have to do is to pay attention to that one experience. So here, we're going to start just by trying to refine how we tune ourselves to the activity that we are proposing ourselves to do. Now, how is that going to help us later on in our leadership activities? How is this going to help us with decision making? How is that going to help us to become more empowered human beings? Is that we're going to train our brains to focus more in what we need to engage on. So when you're having a conversation with someone, you can truly listen to them in a deeper level, not only with empathy, but with engagement. And you can understand how their body language works because you understand how you can listen to your body. That's why we're here today, giving ourselves permission to train our thoughts, to let our brain learn new ways to not be so distracted. So now for just a few seconds, just watch this picture. Just watch the subtle movement in your screen. The sounds in the background are just background noises. This image doesn't represent anything, so you don't need to build stories. This is not a metaphor for life. This is not a narrative. Right now, it's just the invitation to be present in this picture. Just allowing your sight, allowing your eyes to move through the objects, to acknowledge what you see, Acknowledge what you hear, but without attachment. Everything is just passenger, transitional, from one second to the next. When we start getting distracted, we can just observe our thoughts like cars passing on the street. We may feel this inclination to follow them somewhere, to try to find out where they're coming from or where they're going. What color is this? Who is driving this car? And that's where we get distracted. Just moving from one thought to another, instead of focusing on what we propose ourselves to focus on. Now, I imagine you don't follow every car on the road. I imagine you just let them pass by without really wanting to know where they're coming or where they're going. So treat your thoughts in that same way. Just no attachment, no judgment, no stories. That's the essence of a mindful exercise. You are so engaged with the moment and the activity that everything else just passes by. It doesn't require your attention. So let's start with our first exercise, first practice of mindfulness. We're going to listen and pay attention to our body, to our emotions, to our feelings, to the comfort and discomfort in just sitting still. And with this, our goal is not to realize where we feel discomfort or comfort, how hard it is to sit still, but just to allow our minds to navigate our bodies and connect with different sensations that are present just in that singular moment. And this is going to help you to not only connect with yourself, but when needed, connect with others. Because you're going to be able to mindfully engage in conversations and look at the big picture without judging every step of the way. And even to calm down, to take a step back in those moments that we are so passionate that the decision should be made in a cooler state of mind. So let's start with that. Get everyone in the same state of mind and connect ourselves with our bodies. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes while I guide you through this exercise. That may take about 10 minutes, but just enough for you to leave this presentation with another tool that, when necessary, you can implement to just be more present. Let's start by closing your eyes and just noticing, what do you see when your eyes are closed? Maybe just noticing the light colors and patterns floating through your eyelids. Now bringing awareness to how your body changes now that you have your eyes closed. And allowing yourself to just sit in this feeling for a couple of seconds. Maybe even a sense of boredom comes through, but that's okay. This is mindfulness, just noticing how you are feeling. Now, let's direct that awareness. Let's focus on our breath. Just noticing the inhale and exhale, the dynamics of our body, inflow and outflow. Maybe noticing the rise and fall of our chest. Noticing when the air touches our nostrils. The change of temperature when it leaves our body. And then I invite you to notice the bottom of your feet against the ground. Notice the space between your toes. Let your mind trace a map of this area that most often is unexplored. Just connecting with different sensations and feelings in your body without judgment, without moving through the thoughts that come. And when distraction makes itself present, just bring back to that part of your body that we were talking about. So right now, focus on the bottom of your feet. And picture this scanner, almost like a light that is gonna move through your body, starting from the bottom of your feet, inch by inch, going through your heels and ankles, calling your attention and awareness to every piece of your body. Listening with attention to what your body says by just feeling it present. Moving through your shins and your calves. Noticing your skin and your muscles. Moving up your body. Noticing your knees, the bend of your joints, the ligaments. Just recognizing the space that you occupy and the space your body creates within itself. And how with each moment your awareness enhances. And you can notice different sensations and feelings of your body. moving through the muscles of your thighs. Noticing your groin, your hips, feeling the layers of clothes and skin, your body connected to the earth by where you're sitting. And the scanner keeps moving up through your back, one vertebra at a time. And you notice your internal organs functioning, autonomous, realizing the movement of your chest and the beat of your heart as you move up through your back and your shoulders, seeing that each moment is different than the previous one by just focusing on what you are experiencing now. Moving that scanner through your arms, your elbows, your wrists. Notice your hand and every wrinkle, every vein. Your mind just scanning every part of it. Your knuckles, your fingertips. Noticing the landscape of your own skin, the boundaries between your body and the environment, the temperature in the palm of your hands. And bringing that awareness to your neck, your face, noticing your jaw, noticing the inside of your mouth, the textures and tastes, noticing the air as you exhale, your eyelids, your forehead, top of your head, and again your body as a whole, the space that you occupy. And then taking a deep breath, gently and slowly open your eyes. When we engage in meditative practices, in mindful practices, we get connected with our thoughts in a more clear way. We find clarity that is so necessary in moments of decision making, conflict resolution, allowing ourselves not only to relax, like you are feeling right now, but to make space in our mind so we can really approach creativity in a new way. Because instead of going to what we know so well and lead without awareness, then we can look not only at the big picture, but with the whole picture, in every level, in every layer of the situation. Things that come to our awareness are only revealed not when we are in a meditative state, but afterwards, when we reflect when we are reflecting. So now let's engage in a new activity. Now that you are feeling relaxed, that you know how your body is speaking to you, get a piece of paper for a couple of minutes, jot down what are the thoughts that come to your mind when you reflect on that activity. Not trying to remember every step of the way, not trying to make sense of what you felt, but reflecting on how do you feel right now after meditating. I'll give you a couple of minutes, and in the meantime, I'll just leave you with the background sounds. And again, just focus on what you need to write, what is in front of you, what this reflection means. And now you may be asking, what do I do with this? What does this mean? Reflective journals just allow us to process thoughts in a different way. You probably heard that many times before, and how important journaling can be to not only assess your state of mind, but to bring to awareness what is really going on in your mind. When you do that after a meditative practice, what you're doing is just using that space, that buffer that you created as inspiration for insight. You can take that a step further. You can propose yourself to do something that you're not used to do. So right now, for our third exercise, I want you to doodle. Mindfully just putting your pen on paper without any goal or any subject in mind. Just doodle. Just let your hand move freely. And let's do that again for a couple of minutes until you achieve this state of flow, of such engagement that maybe you don't even remember what you're doing here. But that's the goal. Again, to make space for your mind to process emotions, feelings, sensations in a different way. And you may think that this is a mindless activity, but because you are engaged, because you're so focused on what you're doing, and you're not worried about anything else, it becomes a mindful activity. And that can be repeated with anything. Now, I know that I'm proposing this and I know what comes next. But for now, just grab your piece of paper, put your pen there, and let it move without any objective. It can be just squiggles on the paper. It can have a shape or form. It can be a drawing. It does not matter, because what we're trying to achieve is not a goal. You're just being present and actively engaged in what is being proposed to you. Okay, now I'm super curious. I would love to see what came out of this exercise. So I'm gonna have to let my imagination and your imagination lead us to what the group has done. But if you want to share, please use this community to show what came to you when you were fully engaged. Show us what came to your mind, what was expected and what was not expected. Now, I'm gonna turn things around a little bit. I say mindfulness is not about creating narratives, it's not about engaging into the storytelling, and it's not being judgmental of what you are experiencing. However, awareness without action doesn't really lead anywhere. What I propose as a coach, what I propose as a mentor for meditative and mindfulness for leadership is that once we are aware of what is happening in our body, in our emotions, in our lives, well, now we can take actionable steps that are aligned with not only that awareness, but the intention that we want for our plans. Now, with this brainstorm that you did with yourself, first aligning your body and your emotions to just realize what is happening to you at this moment. Then processing those feelings through the journaling exercise. And furthering on, being creative and expanding how you see the world in a new form, but not by writing. I want you to look at this drawing, at this picture that you created, and now create a narrative. How does this fit in how you are feeling? What does this drawing tell you about your emotions and your intentions? Like I said in the beginning of this video, I want us to disconnect from everything else that is distracting us and set an intention for what we want at the end of this session. So how does this align with your intention at the beginning? Now this is a creative exercise that pushes us a little bit further because you need to connect these dots. And that's how the decision-making skills are improved. When the adversity and the unexpected requests require from you to really see things in a different way, to find what you want to propose to yourself, and to align those things with the intention that really matters to you. So again, I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about that. Now, hold to this vision, this narrative, this alignment. And go back to that first image that I show you between the trees with a gentle movement. Now your mind inspired. Now with new insights and thoughts. Now I invite your imagination to be part of the exercise. Looking at the connections of your feelings and emotions to what you see in this as a metaphor for life. As a story or explanation for the moment that you're living in, connected with how your thoughts are aligned with this moment. Just perceiving how different we see things when we take time to just look at them, to listen to them, to engage with the world in a different way. When sometimes we have not a proper stage and the whole world is our stage, what directions do we decide to take? To be mindful and to use that for our advantage in leadership, in decision making, in conflict resolution, and creative thought, is to allow the moment not to pass in vain, but to create opportunities from a scene that we haven't seen before. The last exercise for today is to take 5 minutes, not only contemplating what is around you, beyond this screen and this environment, but in your room, inside your mind, in your body. Not only through this perspective of being in the moment, but with the perspective of gratitude for the moment that you are living. When we consciously engage in gratitude, we shift our perspective from negative aspects of life, and we enhance the way we work on our emotional intelligence by recognizing what is good in this moment that we're living in. Our brain connects with those moments as memories that we can carry further, for longer, and that allows us to feel better, then to be engaged on such a sense of well-being that can be carried on in the decisions that we make and the plans that we trace. As leaders, it's important for us to know when to work in this mindset. It's important. It's necessary for us to know how to engage with everyone around us in such a manner that we don't take things personally, but we take things professionally. In a way that we're not looking at the worst scenarios, but we're looking at realistic scenarios and how we can navigate around the challenges that are presented. By recognizing our strengths, the positive things around us, and bringing this grace and gratitude to our life, you're not only making your life better, but you're making the life of everyone else around you a little bit better too. So again, let's take a few minutes. And whenever you feel like that list is ready, that you're like, oh, this is all that I'm grateful for now, push a little bit further. Look at a couple other things that you're also grateful for. I'm grateful for this moment, this opportunity to be here with you, to be talking about how we, as leaders, builders of this world, can make better company to the people around us. How can we create even better companies to the world? How we can become closer to our friends and family, but also to take the time to deal with ourselves and lead ourselves in a more conscious and mindful way. I want to know from you how these exercises will influence how you see decision making from here on. And maybe it's not for big decisions only, but for those moments when you just want to decide to take a moment to look at the beauty around you.